want to draw my attention back to like what I said previously, what I first came with, like my definitions of like this newer self. So when we went into this whole deep dive and like I came up with this sentence, right? Like shouldn't I do the same thing with uh, with the definitions that I place for myself and just kind of reassure them back to me like how I will with this sentence that we formulated.
Take everything you just tried to say and put it in one sentence. What's the point of what you were trying to say just now?
With the original. All right,
Everything you're trying to communicate and get across. Just say it.
all right.
One
Everything that
sentence.
I'm trying to,
What's the point? Like,
everything.
hit
All
that.
right. So do I? All right. So I want to apply the same thing that we talked about
What is the same
to
thing?
the reassurance, the constant feedback to myself. If I could apply that to my new goals or definitions of myself.
Well, all it took was one sentence, right? That's how you apply it.
Yeah.
You just remember it. Remind yourself. Live by it. Excuse me. I jumped ahead. You remind yourself and then you live by it. Because that's the I
Yeah.
am. Everything's going to be right. Because I got me. I am good. I'm secure. Be, do, have. I am, I do, I have. That's the order. That statement is the I am. Then the I do comes from that. Now what are you going to do about it? That now you are that. Now you have to live it. You have to be about it. Now you have to live it. Like live that statement. Now you have to back it up. Everything gonna be
Yeah.
alright because I'm good. I'm secure, and I'm gonna show you exactly why. I'm gonna wake up at this time of the day. I'm gonna set my to do list out. I'm gonna make these goals and go and achieve it. And here's exactly how I'm gonna do it. Now this is all talk, but I'm talking it out loud. But this would literally be someone's day, someone's actions, someone describing what they did in the past. You know what I mean? I'm saying it to you right now, but that I'm living it. I'm only saying it, but it would literally be actions. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it would be you displaying that control you now have through your actions, and whatever those actions are. Like I just named actions of waking up at a certain time of the day, to do list, but it could be anything. It could be starting that business. It could be making a business plan. It could be, but then even that even making that plan is an action, and even beyond that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that all is following the. Does that make sense?
Yeah. 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 Everything makes sense. And I was already, you know, I already had some sort of like vague sense of like the I am versus the I do, and you need to define your I am before you can actually execute your I do properly in the way that you wanted to. But like since we had this conversation, that really opened up my mind to like just my own like mental control that I wasn't aware of before, which is something that like I wasn't aware of, and now that
Take
I
that
could actually
control back. You gotta take that control back.
yeah.
And when you realize like what you can do with that control, that's where all your fucking power comes in. Cause you don't feel like a victim. You don't feel anxious, scared, nervous, worried, or bothered. That's weak thinking. Why? Because I know I can do something about how I feel. As a matter of fact, I don't even feel like that. As a matter of fact, because I don't feel like that, I can think a little bit clearer and move a little bit faster and make actions with more execution and more confidence and more assertiveness and more clarity and more. I'm telling you, it's such a spin in the opposite direction. It's crazy. But then you see that awareness is a switch. You got to keep the ball rolling though. What are you going to do about it? But if we take a step back and say, when people don't feel as though that they have that awareness. Remember, I said something, Chet, and I said, when you stop using words like worried, right? And I said I'm not, and I said I'm gonna stop using the word worried, and I said I'd rather use the word focused. What did that display in that moment? Control, right? I can't hear your audio if you're saying anything.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were just on the chat. I
No,
know
I
you
was
was
saying that a
talking,
lot.
but
I don't know if you
yeah,
remember that,
yeah,
right? Because I made this, and then I
yeah,
compared the two words. You can only use the word worried in any sentence when you are the recipient of what's happening instead of the one who's in control. I'm worried about the boogeyman. I'm worried about my bills. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. When you say I'm focused on them, that now positions you. See, you understand what I'm saying because you're now aware of that mental switch of power. But somebody might be like, "What?
hmm
Well, duh." Like I'm. But remember, flow and anxiety are on the same level of focus. So they may say they feel the focus, but they don't feel the skill level. They don't feel the power. Is it clicking now?
yeah.
They focused on the focus and not the power or the control or the ability to do something. Come on, man. Do y'all want
So
to
yeah,
swim or do y'all want to
makes
drown, man?
perfect sense. Makes
It's
perfect
right. It's
sense. Like
making
a
perfect
very
sense to you
yeah,
now,
yeah.
right? And then you start lifting up because you're like, damn, like it don't even like procrastination. Don't even like I'm telling you, you start to get so far from one side of the spectrum that things over there don't even make sense to you. Which is why Andrew Tate can say something like, "Depression doesn't exist." I know what he means because of that level of understanding. But I also understand, people that go into, the clinical diagnosis of this and this. But he's speaking from a way higher understanding of like reclaiming your power in that given situation. His I am is the reason that he says something like depression doesn't exist
Because it doesn't exist to him.
because he would control he may be focused on the same issue which a depressed person in the depressed state of being may focus on and be feeling about, but because mentally, right, like you just said, it doesn't feel the same to him because mentally that depressed person in that situation feels down or low or a victim about it, or they don't feel the skill level or ability to do something about it, they bow down.
So you would say depression always can also stem from a lack of control or a feeling of a
You
lack of control.
you of course.
Yeah, yeah. Everything's starting to click right now.
And you know what's crazy and so deep about it? You have hyper achievers who themselves tried to control every aspect of their life, went and lost their minds behind it. But guess what? Their achievements, that hyper fixation to be in control, coincides with the statement I made before. When the identity is insecure, the persona will do what? I don't know if you heard me make that statement in overall, but I said when the identity is insecure, the persona will compensate. So they created
Mm.
this identity, which is an overworker, overachiever, achieves all these things, organizes their life, all this greatness, all this try to be the control, but they never truly felt secure. So they're still in that anxiety, which they're still making actions about it, but the actions are from that state of being. And this is now I'm gonna hit you with another thing. So you know how Steve hits y'all and says, "I am not my result.
Yeah,
I am not in the end result." You have a hyperachiever who is depressed, and then it happens all the time. RIP to the people that you may come to mind when you think about it. But I remember it was like an example. It was like a supermodel. She was like a lawyer and something like that. Was a phenomenal life herself. Meanwhile, somebody else may have achieved all of those things, right? But they never felt they felt secure with. Listen, her aim for security was to compensate for the lack of security she felt within herself. Because of that lack of security and never felt enough, no matter much as she achieved, she tried to confuse her I am with her end result. And she never took her power back. And that's what happens when you confuse the I am with the end result. You start fluffing it up with the end result. I got money. I got bitches. I got power. I got status. I got these things and they never heal that inner core. They never deal with the I am. And a part of them knows they didn't, which is why it haunts them. It follows them like a shadow. Which is why we call it the shadow self. How can you get rid of your shadow? You got to go to the light, enlightenment. I'm telling y'all, do y'all want to swim or do y'all want to drown? Do y'all want to swim or do y'all want to drown? Come on, man. The secret's in language, man.
The language exposes you. But I mean, that's really it, though. Like, you really helped. Like, you just helped me gain new insight. And
Tell you, this is just how Patreon calls are. That's why I like to come back and give them for free. Come to Discord. I can do it. This is one call. Can you imagine people that meet with me over a spirit of months? Because it gets deeper every time. It gets deeper every. This is an introduction. This is the surface. This is the tip of the iceberg.
I'm on the I'm on the Patreon too. Yeah.
This is like the realization. This is the awareness. We didn't even get into the mastery of it. We didn't even get there. So for everybody that's like,
because it's like I had a big sense of everything. Yeah. Like it's like everything. I've had a big sense of
We'll flip it back.
Yeah.
This is the awareness of it. Steve can have so many metaphors that hits this shit on the nose. Guess what he says? You learn letters. Then you learn words. Then you turn those words into sentences. Then you turn those sentences into paragraphs. Then you turn those paragraphs into a page. The page into a chapter. The chapter into a book. But you had to learn your ABCs first. We talking about the ABCs. This is the ABCs. This is the ABCs. You probably got so many people listening right now that's like, yo, my mind is blown. Oh my God. We didn't even put the letters into words and the words into sentences and the sentences into paragraphs.
It's the same thing when like the callers call in and they ask some question that the caller probably can't even give an answer to. And Steve always says
they want a oven baked meal in a microwave.
Yeah, they trying to solve a calculus problem with a 2 + 2 process.
And guess what? An answer. The bottom line is it's an answer they're not even ready for. So even if you got the answer, you wouldn't even do nothing with it.
They know calculus and they don't even they're trying to ask a calculus question, but they don't even know algebra.
They can't even count to 10. Fuck algebra, you can't even count to 10. Right, one book into a library. See, we got people in there watch a lot of Steve. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know this shit.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Hey, y'all, listen, this is why y'all be thinking coaching is a fucking money grab or get coaching. That shit is not a money grab. You need a doctor. Yo, listen, you go to medical school to become a doctor. Like, it gets like this.
I'm telling you, if I had the means, like, I'd definitely get coaching.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm just saying, that's why I do these Discord calls. Because, you ain't got it. And, I tap back in when I let's do calls today or let's react or whatever. But, whenever I decide to do calls, I do calls. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm on the Patreon too, and I've been meaning to send a DM to you. I just haven't gotten around to doing that. So you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, yeah. This was really helpful though.
Telling you, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, for sure.
All right.
Chad, do y'all want to swim or do y'all want to drown, bro? Do y'all want to swim?